Welcome to WKRP Montrose, a radio station masquerading as a podcast about Montrose, Colorado and the Western Slope, recording live from the Clear Network studio in downtown Montrose, Colorado. All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of WKRP. We are back. You guys, it's the first week in January here. You'll notice that we're going to have an untraditional guest here with us to join us in a minute. But you guys probably saw the piece that we did talking about the current ski patrol strike in Telluride, and you gave us a lot of feedback. There were a lot of comments on the video, and we wanted to be able to get somebody that's on the ground there in Telluride, particularly with an insight into it, to be able to come on and talk to us. You guys wanted some more first-hand knowledge.
Right. Plus, the last piece was more opinions, what we think about this kind of stuff, but we felt like it was necessary to get somebody on who can talk with authority about what's actually going on. So
without further ado, we will bring on a 7-year, can I use the word veteran? I'm going to use the word veteran. 7-year veteran of Telluride Ski Patrol. Hey, how you doing there?
Hey, good afternoon. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for taking the time to join us. We appreciate you. I know it's a stressful time up there, and there's a lot going on. I wish there was more snow going on. That's still an issue, it sounds like, up there. But we wanted to be able to reach out and ask, from the ski patroller's position, where are things at? How are things, how are things progressing? Are they not progressing? And, what are the issues that are going to get us to a resolution here?
Yeah, sure. So, so obviously, we started negotiations for our contract in June. And we didn't have really a lot of traction, as far as coming up with a fair compromise that, this team was willing to go back to work under. So we continued working without a contract in the beginning of the part of the season, working hard to get the upper mountain terrain open, get everything open, regardless of the snow.
So that's
work. It's been thin, but go ahead.
I was saying that's work that you guys are doing before the season. Like, what does that include? And also remind me, you guys are, you started without a contract this season, but this is coming off a previous contract that you guys were, you had negotiated before it kind of got you up to this point. Cause I think from the, the general public standpoint, they're like, where did this come from all of a sudden? Why is this happening now, right before the season opens? And that's not the case, is it?
No, not at all. Like I said, our committee began negotiations in June, trying to get ahead of it and get a new contract written down before we went back to work, and before the season even really started, before the snow flies. That was that was the intention with that, getting going on it back in June. And, there was, like I said, there wasn't really much traction. The company kind of delayed some of the meetings. A lot of the meetings were just completely non-productive, with them essentially offering us our old contract. Excuse me. And, so we were, we've been trying to get ahead of this since June. So for over 6 months now. And, hang tight here. I'm getting off the gondola. It's a little bit loud. Sorry about
That's
that.
all right. That's all right.
And maybe let me frame this a little bit too, on what some of the people have been asking is, or maybe something that they don't understand. So ski patrol is not like a salaried position that you're paid all year long, right? You're hourly.
No, absolutely not. We're hourly employees. It's what I would describe it as a seasonal full-time position. So a full-time, somebody, I have 7 years of experience, right? So I'm actually kind of on the bottom third of the of the patrol as far as actual years spent on patrol. We have a ton of people with 10 to 20 years of experience, and then even about the same number. It's probably a third of people have 0 to 10 years, a third of people have 10 to 20, and then the other third of our patrol is 20 years and up. So,
can you take a second to explain why that's important, like how experience factors into this, and why, not just anybody can be a ski patroller?
Well, yeah, I mean, I would say that it takes a minimum of 4 to 5 years to effectively learn this job and become an asset. We're always training, we're always learning new things, but it really is an expansive mountain with some of the most extreme avalanche terrain in the country. And there's a lot of terrain to learn.
So is it important then that the experience that you have is not just 7 years ski patrol experience, it's the ski patrol experience at the resort, at the mountain, this specific mountain? You couldn't just necessarily transfer it to a different place and be as effective. Is that fair to say?
That's absolutely fair to say. I would say definitely it helps to have, we do have people who we hire with previous patrol experience,
right?
Which is huge, because if they're comfortable with responding to incidents, as far as injured people on the mountain, that's a huge bonus. But I mean, literally just learning the terrain itself can take a couple of years,
right?
And knowing effectively where you are on the mountain is crucial.
Yeah, because there are no signposts everywhere, right? If somebody is in a particular place, you kind of need to be able to recognize landmarks, I guess, and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine if somebody was a ambulance driver,
right? And
you were like, hey, there's an injury,
no street signs,
but there's no street sign and no like, hey, just come find me, type of thing,
right?
Like, it's important for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's, and we have so many landmarks. I mean, obviously there's a trail map, right? But within that terrain, like we have hundreds of our own,
right, like internal
landmarks,
right.
Yeah, that we can use to describe. So if you're responding to somebody who's injured in a more obscure part of the mountain,
right?
We can get there, and we can find them, and we can let everyone else know, hey, this is where I am,
right,
and you need to send this equipment here.
Right. And of course, time is of the essence, and I don't think it's too dramatic to say that it is very often, it's life and death. I mean, the longer somebody is in a certain, under certain circumstances, the longer it takes for you to get there. I mean, it's possible that, the situation just gets worse and worse. So very important that you know where to go.
So where, let's, how did, I guess maybe also wanted to find out, like, how did we get to where we're at? It feels like maybe this is something, it almost sounds like this was a situation that, you didn't have somebody in control or like managing this situation and understanding like, hey, this is coming up on the schedule. We need to figure this out. It sounds like from the perspective of the ski resort, like who would normally be in charge of making sure that all of this was already resolved? And
sure. Yeah. Well, most ski areas, this one included, up until the last couple of years, have a CEO that oversees the more corporate aspects of the resort's management, and they have a mountain manager who is typically someone who has a ton of experience on mountain. They may have started as a lift operator and worked their way up through the ranks, or a cat driver, or whatever, right? But it's a person who has experience and an intimate knowledge of the area as well, who essentially acts as a liaison and gives direction to all of the departments, whether it be snowmaking, grooming, food and beverage, patrol,
Right.
lift off.
So it's somebody on the ground.
Correct. Yeah, somebody on the ground who is seeing what's going on and being able to direct the department
Right.
as needed in order to ensure things operate smoothly.
So obviously, it sounds like that person isn't in place now. Is that fair to say? And that is part of the problem?
Or maybe somebody not with the experience that they necessarily need. I mean, coordinating several different departments is, something that you need to have some experience with.
Yeah, correct. So, I mean, we haven't had that role, that position of the mountain manager position has been vacant, I want to say, since 2022. And then before that, in 2020, it was about 6 years ago, the CEO was fired. And so neither of those positions have been filled for the last number of years. And I do have to say that all of the departments are doing an excellent job of running the resort essentially without any direction.
Right.
Because there are so many experienced people in all of those respective departments, but there's not one person who is
pulling it all together, right? Yeah,
exactly, and facilitating the communication between all of the departments in order to manage the mountain, as the name would imply.
Right. So that's a symptom that the strike and all the things associated with then. It's almost like it's a symptom of a kind of larger underlying problem.
Well, yeah, I would say so. And really, I mean, what this strike comes down to for us is the fact that the only way to safely operate this mountain from our department's stance on patrol, the only way to achieve safety for the guests and for ourselves is through attraction and retention, right?
Yeah.
So, and by attraction and retention, the retention is we want to keep our experienced people around, and attraction, right? Increasingly so in the last 5 or 6 years, we've had issues with hiring new people,
right?
And having them stick around for more than a couple of years,
right? And as you said earlier, that's no good anyway, right? A couple of years to get to know the terrain they're not necessarily as valuable in the beginning. It's the long-term value that people have.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you?
This is not a job that you can have high turnover in.
Right.
Can you put some perspective? Can you put some perspective maybe for people that don't understand, like, if you're just looking at this from the outside and somebody's saying, well, they're looking for a 30% increase, in a wage, and somebody says, well, you took the job, you understood what the pay was, why is it so? It sounds unreasonable to the uneducated person to understand why you would be asking for a 30% raise, and if there was a counter, why you wouldn't, accept it. And so can you maybe give some perspective to that for people that are out there? And because I lived in Telluride for, over a decade, and I understand that it's, cost of living there is very different from what somebody in Denver might incur, and so there's a part of that people may not understand, and some of the reporting that may not be exactly accurate of like what your housing situations are like, and how do you remain, like we said, you're an hourly position that's seasonally, a thing. Well, there's more than the season of just the winter season, and if you're going to remain there, what does it take to try to remain there?
Right.
So is that like, why is it important for you guys to be, you're saying recruiting and being able to keep people? Why is that percentage increase? Like, what is that? You're calling it a cost of living. What does that mean for you guys?
Well, again, I think you said this, which is that the reality is that living in this area is substantially more expensive than other parts of Colorado and other parts of the United States.
Yeah.
I went shopping in Montrose yesterday.
Thank you.
And I sat down and had a nice lunch for myself. And I was out the door for $24 after tip.
Right.
And that doesn't exist here.
Right.
So I mean, for one thing, it's simply that the market economics of the place, right, is such that other employers can't find people to work here for less than a certain amount of money, right? My wife runs a landscape company in the other parts of the season. She's also on patrol, but she pays people $35 an hour just to show up.
Right.
And a lot of other businesses in the area pay significantly higher wages than what we do for that reason. Because in order to attract somebody to the job, whether they already live here or whether they're, driving from, Montrose, mm-hmm. Ridgeway, wherever, there needs to be an incentive for people to want to come work here, in whatever. You're
out the door for $24 in Montrose. You had to drive 90 minutes to get here, and right. That's a treacherous drive in the middle of winter too. So there's other things totally. that have to be factored in. Before we move on, I just want, because Dennis talked about it's a 30+% pay increase you're looking for. And we mentioned this before, but it's a 30-something% increase, but from 21 to 28, right, for the newest ski patroller. So 35 sounds like a lot. When you put it into dollar terms, it really isn't.
Well, and I mean, also, for what it's worth, that 30% number is inaccurate of what is actually on the table right now. It's closer to 23%, and that percentage also is not the percentage that each person would be, or that anyone would be getting their individual wage increase to.
Right.
What that number is a percentage of the payroll, the actual budget of the payroll.
So the gross,
so
the gross budget.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So it's not like people are
taking home that, right. They're not taking home
Correct.
that 30-something% increase. It's
Correct.
Yeah. So
Correct.
The reason we wanted to talk to you today particularly is that as of today, part of the mountain is open. And we'd like you to explain to us and to our listeners that what exactly is open and how is that able to happen with you guys on strike?
Yeah, sure thing. So the part of the mountain that is open right now is the Meadows Magic Carpet beginner area, chair 1, and it's all. I believe it's the golf course. The entire area is the driving range in the summertime. It is owned property, which is owned by Ski.
That makes a difference. So it's not on
Forest
Service land. It's on private property, the part that's open.
Correct.
Okay,
that kind of explains. Well, yeah, can you just expand a little bit on how that might, how are they able to open that? Do they have ski patrol? Do they have to have some kind of people there to monitor skiers?
Yes. So there are 4 ski patrollers who are they're in management, what you would consider management positions. and they are non-unionized, so they are still working. Then there's a handful of people who are non-patrol personnel, but technical certification.
Oh, we're losing you a little bit.
Are you still there? You cut out. You cut out there a little bit. Can you just explain again the other people? You said that there are some management, and then there's the other people. Can you reiterate that because you cut out?
Yeah, of course. There's I don't know the number of them, but there's a handful of people who have been brought on as temporary replacement workers to fill the ski patrol staff position while we are on a work stoppage.
Right.
And the credentials, they have to have some type of medical certification.
Right.
But then, and as far as their experience in the outdoor environment, on skis, running toboggans, I have no idea what level there is with any of that.
Is that because you said it's essentially the driving range and it's private property? Is there a minimum requirement though, even though if you don't necessarily know it in terms of their abilities, is there a minimum requirement, or because it's private property, it's kind of up to them? Did the Forest Service have a say in this? Are there regulations, insurance issues, or anything like that you know of?
To be honest, I really don't know the answer to that question.
Okay.
My guess is that whatever requirements are set forth on private property,
right? They fulfill them.
My guess would be that whatever the insurance company's requirement is right. What is acceptable.
Right, but of course that doesn't necessarily mean. Well, without knowing, that doesn't mean that. I don't know. These guys are. I'm gonna leave that point. I don't know where I was going with it, but yeah. I'm trying to be impartial.
Well, so I appreciate you taking the time today. I appreciate you helping giving us some perspective on it. If the lack of snow is a scenario that people are bringing up. It's like, would this be an issue if there were more snow? Or is the lack of snow creating the opportunity to, keep the mountain closed and just blame ski patrol for this situation? Do you want to comment on that, or is that something that you'd rather not?
Well, I mean, I think that, we're in a low snow year, but we just got a little, we got maybe 2 inches in Mountain Village today, and it's actually starting to look somewhat wintry here again.
That's good to hear.
Well, let me rephrase that a little bit. How much of the mountain do you think could open today? If Ski Patrol, if you came to an agreement right now, how much of the mountain could you open with, in terms of snow?
Well, we before we went out, we actually did open up in kind of in a different fashion than we normally would. We opened up the 6 area and the 14 area, Gold Hill Ridge, for people to come and ski. And I honestly think that if we were to go back to work tomorrow, we would be able to open up the 6 area, the 9 area, the entire 4 area, the 5 area. So we would be able to open up a lot of terrain,
a decent amount. Yeah.
Even the 12 area too. The Prospect Bowl, I think, would be great skiing right now. So,
I mean, just to kind of wrap this up, what's next? I mean, do you just sit and wait? Do you, how are you guys proceeding with this to try and come to a resolution?
Yeah, sure. So, we have had since the first time, since we went out on strike on the 27th, a couple days ago, we had our first talks in the negotiation room with the company, and they put together an offer for us, which ultimately was the same offer with some of the numbers moved around to appear as though there was more money that was brought to the table.
Right.
And we are currently waiting on them to revise and present another offer. We're in talks with them.
Right. Is it fair to say? Is it fair to say that moving the numbers around isn't necessarily good faith bargaining, right?
Well, it's a little bit of that in the sense that they essentially presented us the same offer for a fourth time in a row now.
Right.
Be special teams.
Right.
The maximum amount of special teams you can be on is 3. And currently, I'm on the howitzer team. I'm a dog handler, and I'm on the avalancher team. So right now, for me as an assistant gunner to pull the lanyard on a military howitzer, I get paid an extra 50 cents an hour. Wow. One of the increases that we were hoping to get written into the new contract is an increase to our special team wage.
Right.
I believe we were hoping to get $1 an hour for me, for myself and my teammates to function on those teams.
Right.
So 50 cents is 100% of 50 cents.
Right. Exactly. Right? So yes, that's why the percentage is very misleading in some regards. In this one, particularly misleading. Is there like extended training that you need to people take, in certain scenarios, you have to take continuing education credits and things like that. If you're operating a howitzer gun, and you're shooting it into the mountain to set off, certain avalanches for safety, I would imagine that there's some extended training that happens there as well. And so there's a tremendous amount of training that goes into everything related to our explosive avalanche control. Yeah. After 4 or 5 years, every patroller is expected to obtain and maintain a Class 3 explosives handling license through the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. It's a federally issued explosives permit, and there's continuing education that's involved in maintaining that permit. There's a test that you need to take every several years to renew it. And it takes a significant amount of time in the field in order to qualify to obtain just that basic permit. And then from then on, you can try and get your way onto some of these teams. Right. And let's not forget that with all of that, obtaining those certifications and maintaining them, this is also still a seasonal job. Yes.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us and talk to us. I know that you've got to go about your day, and we've got to get back to the rest of the broadcast. But I appreciate the time. Thank you for filling us in, and being willing to talk to us on such short notice. And don't hesitate to come back to us if you have anything you want to come and tell us, and we're happy to be a conduit in some respects to getting more information. And we're wishing the best of luck for this to have a speedy resolution. I know there's a lot of people that are affected and involved by it. Yeah. And I know that, we believe that you're worth the money. Absolutely. We want to see you out there making sure that we have a safe ski area to ski on. So thank you for that. Yeah, of course. Thank you, Rob. Dennis, have a nice afternoon. Yeah, you too. And we'll speak to you soon, hopefully. Bye-bye. Bye. All right. Well, so here's the issue with that is the ski area is only partially opened. It's not even partial. Right. It's right. And we did have you guys will probably notice we had a little bit of an interruption in there. We both lost some audio from the ski patroller, as well as we had a little bit of a technical issue. So, but that being said, there was a lot of information there. There was a huge amount. Yeah. I just want to direct everybody, if you don't actually know what a howitzer is, Google it, and then realize that You want somebody that knows what they're doing.
Ski patrollers, it's a lot more than perhaps people think. Google howitzer.
Yeah.
You would never, 50 cents an hour in additional pay to operate a howitzer is insane.
You want somebody that knows what they're doing, in that position. All right. That being said, we want to make sure, and if you've made it this far, Telluride, the area is open. Restaurants are open.
Yes.
Ice skating rinks are open. The sled hill is open.
Restaurants, bars, shops, stores,
museums, retail, everything is open. The flights are open to come here. Come in and stop in Montrose. We've got, a brand new escape room. We've got dinner classes. We've got new restaurants opening.
Yeah.
There's Nordic skiing, available. There's fly fishing. Winter fly fishing is something that people don't realize is a big thing out here.
Yeah.
The spas are open. Get a massage.
Visit Telluride have something that I don't know if it's new or not, but they have what they call the peak sheet. And it's a weekly list of events that are going on. And they update it every week. That's worth looking at. Especially, I notice here that we have Mind Blown, which is on at the Peaks Resort and Spa, which is a
great
brilliant show from friend of the show.
You would literally have your mind blown.
No, you won't literally have it.
Yeah,
blown.
it'll explode.
From our friend Ty Gallup.
You don't want to be in the splash zone.
Go and Telluride's open.
Yeah.
It's the ski resort itself is not open. However, the rest of the town is. So, there are plenty of things to do.
Get over here. Get out here.
You can just prance around town looking fashionable and post that on Instagram if you like.
I feel like that's a lot of people.
Yeah, it is.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, folks.
Yep.
You want to be out here. So make sure you come and visit Montrose, Colorado, Telluride, Colorado. It's the Western Slope is just gorgeous. You know what? We can't leave without, since we didn't do it in the beginning.
Yep.
Thanking Clear Networks.
Yep.
For the show.
I don't know if they can see our hoodies. Yeah. Thanks, Clear Networks, for supporting.
Local.
Actually, this might be some of the more valuable things we've done in terms of a podcast. I think it's important to put this information out there.
So you think they're finally getting their money's worth?
Yeah, finally. We appreciate you, Clear Networks.
Yeah.
And the City of Montrose, we're in our new studio here.
Our new digs.
Partnering with them. So, there's more to come on this, I'm sure. Unfortunately, this isn't going to come to a resolution probably in the next few days, but hopefully it doesn't drag on too long.
We'll figure it. We'll get it figured. They'll get it figured out. We'll get it figured out.
But seriously, Google howitzer. You will not.
You'll not be disappointed.
No. It's crazy to think that they get paid.
All right, everybody. Extra. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.